Hey, what's up? My name is Seth with SethPerler.com. I am an executive function coach in Boulder, Colorado. I help struggling students figure out how to navigate this thing called school. So, I got this letter from a high school instructional technology coach, an IT coach, um, and it says this: Seth, thank you for your support. I joined or signed up for your website in hopes to find and read ideas you have for helping at risk students. Almost 25% of our students in our freshman class are at risk, unintentional learners, and unmotivated. Wow. Guys, parents, teachers, people watching, we have got I just did another video similar to this, but we have got to step it up a million steps. This is not okay. All right, so first let me talk about what does at risk mean. She says 25% of the freshmen are at risk. 25%, 1 in 4 students you see walking down the hallway. In a classroom of 20 kids, which is not ever going to happen in high school, but in a classroom of 20 kids, 5 of them are at risk. In a school of 2,000, 500 are at risk. And that's just the ones who are counted. There may obviously be a lot more. What does that mean? Well, the way I describe the purpose of education is that when a student is done with their educational experience, so after high school or college or gap years or whatever you consider education, they should have the skills, the tools, whatever is necessary for them to launch a great future. I use the word launch a lot. So, what are they at risk of? They are at risk of not being able to launch a happy and successful future. They are at risk of not being able to have the skills, the knowledge, whatever it is that it takes to have a great future. They are at risk of not being able to have that. So, the students that I work with, I'm an executive function coach. All of the students that I work with struggle in school. They're probably technically all at risk. And my job is to minimize, reduce, or remove that risk. That is what I'm trying to do so that they can launch a great future. And if you're a parent or a teacher or a professional who's working with struggling students, and you're trying to help somebody who's struggling, they're at risk. They're struggling because they're at risk of not being able to launch that. And that's what we're trying to do here. So thank you so much for your email. It's just really good to hear concrete from somebody who's out there in the trenches in terms of what's going on and what you're dealing with. So I want to mention the other two things you said. You said unintentional learners or unmotivated. And I have this idea called the intentional learner, and it's like this book idea that I came up with a long time ago. But like when I think about what I'm trying to do with students, I don't talk about this a lot on my blog, but I'll talk about it today. The best words that I can come up with is that we are trying to help students become intentional learners. Because if you can be mindful, conscious, self aware as a learner, if you can be a learner who is learning and moving through education with intentionality, then you have greater choice and freedom and you're able to create a better future for yourself. If you are moving through education unintentionally, blindly, mindlessly, unconsciously, without self awareness, not metacognitively, without introspection, without being reflective, then you are missing one of the key things that anybody needs in order to have a happy and successful future, which is the intentionality. Being intentional, not being a robot, not being mindless, not just doing whatever you're doing and not thinking about it, but thinking about what you want to do in this lifetime and in this world and how you want to treat people and how you want to interact with people and the type of relationships you want to have and the type of contributions you want to make. Intentionality is such an important key. So thank you for mentioning that word as well. So a quarter of them are at risk or unintentional learners, the awesome phrase, and unmotivated. And that's the last thing I'll talk about. I do not try to motivate my students. It is not about motivation to me. Although you're right in what you said that they are unmotivated, but for you parents and teachers out there, I do not. You can do whatever you want. I do not talk to my clients, my students, about becoming more motivated. I don't play that game because it's not a winning game for me. Telling them they should be more motivated or trying to motivate them is not what gets them to take action. What gets them to take action is dealing with the emotional aspect of what's going on. Dealing with you you have your iceberg here, and the tip of the iceberg is what we see. Underneath the iceberg is all of this other is this huge mass that's 80 or 90% of the iceberg is on underneath. So what's going on beneath the surface with these kids? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find out what's going on underneath the surface, and usually their resistance comes from they're emotionally overwhelmed. So I have to deal with the emotional overwhelm in order to help them get motivated or to take action. And what I'm really trying to do is help them learn how to do what they need to do even though they're not motivated. That's the way I approach it and look at it and convey it to them. Okay, I know you don't want to do it. That's cool. I wouldn't want to do it if I were you either. But how do we do it anyhow and overcome the resistance for your own well-being? And that's a whole another can of worms. That's what my whole practice is built around, is how do you help these kids do what they need to do for their own future well-being that they're resistant to doing. And again, you got to look at what's underneath the surface, and that's what we often don't look at in education. Anyhow, I just wanted to unpack that for you guys a little bit and look into that. Again, my name is Seth Perler with SethPerler.com. I'm an executive function coach out of Boulder, Colorado, helping struggling students turn around in school so that they can have a great future. If you haven't signed up, I have a ton of free stuff on my site, and I have free updates, and I have a free mini course when you sign up as well. But check out the site. There's tons of resources for you. Hang in there. Don't give up. Keep moving forward, step by step by step, helping your kids turn it around and having a great future. Take care.